Hey, what's up, everyone? We are live, and what we're going to do in today's class is going to be um, the easy guide to for new vegans. All right, so the easy guide go for new vegans, or if you're going new vegan, you probably want this particular guide. And what I'm going to do is in this guide, definitely go through it because I have, to make a long story short, I have a guide called No Wheat Vegans, right? And the reason I created it is basically because I know that when I first went vegan, it was pretty difficult. It wasn't easy, okay? And I made this mistake a lot when I became vegan, and it took me a while to learn what I needed to do to be a healthy vegan, okay? Because even when I went vegan, I see this all the time. Um, I'm not getting I wasn't getting the proper nutrients. I wasn't really thinking about getting nutrients. I just kind of figured like, hey, if I'm as long as I'm eating healthy, I'm getting all the nutrients I need. And you have to remember when you're someone transitioning from a SAD diet, like a standard American diet, even a carnivore diet or a keto diet, whatever diet that you followed in the past, you're taking the same type of mindset and now you're trying to apply that to plant-based. It's not going to really work out in your favor if you do it like that. Okay, so this is why I want to go through this guide that I have. And while I shared the guide, it's not something it's a big secret. You don't have to pay for it. Okay, it's a free guide, and there's multiple ways you can get it. And before I even open it up, I'll say this throughout this chat. Um, just go to my. You have to go to my Instagram, right? You have to. That's the only place you can get it. Well, there's two places you could get it, but if you want to get it like fast and immediately, just go to my personal Instagram, which is Corinne Sutton, and then after that, DM me and just uh, say no, say what's a good word we could use? I don't want say this. Say vegan. All right. So just DM me the word vegan, and I'll send you my free guide, No Weak Vegans. Okay. But what I'm going to do is go through the guide, right, in this class and really go deeper into what the guide actually have. All right. And this is a good class for anyone that's, again, who's going vegan. They want to learn like good step-by-step ways when it comes to transitioning to this lifestyle. And you want to do this in the most healthiest way. So give me a second as I pull that up. And while I'm pulling this up, y'all can ask questions and stuff like that if y'all wish. I'll be happy to answer any type of questions that you have when it comes to, it could be about anything, business, veganism, food, nutrition, whatever the case can be. I'll answer those questions for you. All right. So the right now the guide is loading up. All right. So I'm just waiting for that to load up. But while we're here, let's see if there's any questions coming up at the moment, and just do a quick recap from last week. Last week we talked about like different types of proteins when it comes to going vegan, because that's something that a lot of people obviously don't try to get, and there's really a big confusion when it comes to being vegan. So right now we have Riflin. She said, I'm a new vegan and I'm bloated all the time. All right. So, and this is coming from Instagram. So like, if you feel bloated all the time, all right, and you're a new vegan, there's two reasons. One reason is it could be a contribution of too much fiber. Okay. Which means that, you might want to lower your fiber intake. So I highly suggest using the application called MyFitnessPal. Okay. And start tracking the foods that you're actually eating. Because this is the only way you're going to really, if you're trying to figure this out on your own, and do it in the least expensive, inexpensive way, I highly suggest just download MyFitnessPal, right? Go ahead and download that. Then what you're going to do is start tracking what you eat for each day. Do this for like, I would say like a week, okay? And track everything down. And then what you're going to do is you're going to look into the nutrition. And I'm going to show you right here how it looks. Okay. So if I have my Fitness Pal opened up here, and I use this app myself, okay, you can go to nutrition, to your food log. All right. And if you see with the food log, you can see I already have food logged in. All right. This is the breakfast that I have. Well, except this. Let me just change this out and then put in the bagel. Got a bagel this morning. All right. And then I had seitan instead of tofu. Just making some minor adjustments. All right. And then a little bit of jelly. And we're going to erase that lunch. Hold on. Need to make some adjustments because I was using this making someone's meal plan. All right. So as you can see, I already have foods logged in for my breakfast, and this is what I actually have. Okay. So then what I'm going to go is go down to nutrition and click on that. And then what you're going to look at is this right here. It says fiber. Okay. And it's going to show you exactly how much fiber you're eating. So for me right now, I'm getting about 18 grams of fiber. Now, the goal is to get to 32 grams of fiber. All right. That's like the 32 to 40 grams of fiber, or 40 grams of fiber is the recommended choice for humans. Like we should be doing that on a daily basis. But the average American is usually getting about somewhere around like 10 to 15 grams of fiber a day. And this is why there's a lot of digestive issues when it comes to a lot of individuals, and especially like, and if you consume like a low fiber diet for a very long time, it can lead to chronic issues like colon cancer. You know what I'm saying? Because you literally, I usually say this, you literally have shit in you, you know, like you're not getting the crap out of your body. So, and then that also harms your gut microbiome, because guess what? The gut microbiome can't create a good gut bacteria, because that's what it is. Like not all bacteria is bad. Some bacteria is actually good, right? And to create and feed that gut bacteria and to create like a good colony that's going to help with your immune system and overall wellness of your body, especially when it comes, especially your immune system, so you can fight off other diseases. Because I think it's about like 70% of your immune system lives in your gut. So if you're not getting a high fibrous diet, your immune system is going to be very low, and it's going to be very difficult to fight off a lot of infections. Okay. So this is something that you want to make sure. But going back to the bloating, because I could kind of talk about the gut for a while. Going back to the bloating, see how much you're eating. Now, if you're eating, like if you average it out, let's say theoretically you average it out and you are getting the daily recommendations, like 32 grams, then what's happening is that maybe your gut is weak. All right. And this is something that's kind of common with most new vegans, because they're coming from a heavy animal-based diet, or I like to, not even just animal-based, but just a SAD diet, which is a standard American diet. They're not, when people, before they transitioned to the veganism, their diet was trash, right? They weren't eating the best. They were probably eating a lot of meat, a lot of processed foods, not really getting a lot of fiber, because you can only get fiber from whole foods, you know what I'm saying? Like rice, beans, nut, grains, dark leafy greens, and fruits. And a lot of the fiber, like if you want to get a lot of fiber into your body, it's really going to come in from the fruits and vegetables. That's where you're going to get the most amount of fiber in. Meat doesn't have fiber. Okay, there's literally zero fiber in animal byproducts. Zero. Okay, so if you're going from a standard American diet, and you knew that, like, hey, you have to be honest to yourself too, like, especially if you weren't tracking, you have to kind of be honest. Like, was I really eating crap? That means your gut microbiome is weak. And maybe if you see that your average is like, let's say theoretically 32, then maybe bring it down to 15. Okay, and try to get that on a regular basis. And then after a month, I would say 4 to 6 weeks, then bring it up a little bit, bring it up to like 20 grams. and then kind of do that every 4 or 6 weeks. Slowly bring up your fiber intake, and so you can see how your gut feels and see how the bloating feels. Okay, now that's one way to do it, to really slowly bring up your fiber intake, so that can reduce a lot of bloating. Now sometimes bloating can get confused too with just being full. You know what I'm saying? So I've noticed that sometimes too, because I noticed that sometimes when I speak to certain individuals, they're like, yeah, after I eat I feel bloated, and then when they show me, it's like the top part of their belly is just sticking out a little bit. And you have to kind of remember, if you're on a whole foods plant-based diet as well, and you're going to be consuming a lot of volume, and that bloating will go down within a couple hours. You know what I'm saying? So if you notice, if it's just that and you're just full, that's just normal. You know, that's normal. But if it's bloating, it's very uncomfortable. You have a lot of gas and constipation and stuff like that. Then try lowering your fiber intake, and slowly every 4 or 6 weeks, slowly bring it up, so your gut microbiome can get stronger and get adapted to a high fibrous diet. Because that's what I usually do with individuals that truly suffers from chronic bloating, IBS, Crohn's disease, things like that. That's what we usually do. We don't just keep them in a place where, well, you have Crohn's, so let's just focus on a low fiber diet for the rest of your life. No, because again, more fiber, better your immune system. So it's just that you have to train the body, just how you train to get muscles. You know what I'm saying? You have to train the gut. If the gut is super weak, you have to train it to become stronger, to be able to build up a stronger gut bacteria, or that strong colony within your gut, so you can have more high fiber. So try doing that, see if that works out for you. Okay. Now remember, right now what I'm doing is I'm actually just waiting for this book to load up. All right. So okay, so it's load up. All right. So hopefully that helps you out. Let me see. Hopefully that helps you out briefly. Okay, let's see. Como 0.8 B12 was down. I have daily injections for 2 weeks now. I was taking B12 supplements, but maybe they were rubbish then. Man, if you're taking the injections should be pretty strong. And very surprising that your B12 is down. But one way to make sure that your B12 is good, okay? Because my B12, I can actually show you my levels right now. I have no shame with this. I can actually show you my B12 levels now. And I'm just going to tell you what I do. Okay, this is what I do. I don't do injections, and technically, I don't do like B12 supplements, like buying like a supplement like this, like in a bottle, and take B12. And my B12 levels are extremely high. So I'm going to tell you. I'm going to show first. I'm going to show you my B12 levels, just in case like there's someone there like, oh, he's BSing, whatever. I want to go ahead and bring that up first, just so you can see that they're very high. It's pretty extreme, But I'm going to show you what I do. So let's see, records. Just pulling this up real quick. Let's see, B12. I have it pulled up. Just looking for the B12. All right. So here's my B12 range right here. As you can see, it says vitamin B12. You can see that it was this is my blood was taken last year in November, so not that far ago. Um, and then if you can see, it says out of range, and it's at 1,685 um, milliliters. All right, so it's pretty high, right? Now, what I did to get those B12 levels that high is this. First, you can take some nutritional yeast. All right. So nutritional yeast, and I can actually bring it up for y'all, how it looks like. And let me just share the screen for y'all so y'all can see it. Just give me a sec. All right, so this is nutritional yeast here. Okay. Now, if we look here, you're going to get tons of your B vitamins. All right. And as you can see where the percentage is, if you see where this percentage is, like thiamine, which is like B1, niacin, B3, uh, riboflavin, B2, and there's also it should show more technically. Let's see if we can bring up like nutrition facts right here. All right, so if we go here, uh, here's your B12 right here. B12, 630% of your daily value. B9, which is folate, 90% of your daily value. B6, all right, 420% of your daily value. All right. Now, this is only 2 tablespoons. Okay, so that's the cool thing about this. Now, the thing about nutritional yeast is that it's a fortified food. It has like more of a cheesy flavor, so you could throw it on popcorn. You throw it on your salads. Me particularly, I usually use it mostly in the morning. I put it on my like, I usually have tofu scramble or my broken burger bowl. I throw a couple teaspoons on there. Okay, and then mix it up. So then using actual cheese or vegan cheese, I use this instead because I'm going to get a lot of my B vitamins right here. And this is what I usually do. So I would say this would be my number one supplement or fortified food, you can say, that I get my B12 in. Like and truthfully, like you see how this is the Bragg's. Once you start using this, you could boost it up. Now, a nickname for it is Nooch, as you can see. Like some vegans call it Nooch. I don't know even where that name came from, but this is what I usually do here is I get the ones from Anthony. All right. Because like here's the thing, nothing's wrong with the one from Bragg's. The Bragg one is really good. But as you can see, if you get this whole entire bag, you this is like a pound only for $17. You're going to save so much money long term. So and this is what I did. I actually bought one of these, right? I bought the Bragg's nutritional yeast bottle. And then once I finished it, oh, look, they have the bag now. Oh, I didn't even know they had the bag. But either or is great, right? Let's check out the Bragg's. Let's see if they even have the bag. Oh, but this is only 12 ounces. Let's see, that's 340 grams. Let's see how much. Let's compare prices. That's $13. Yeah, so yeah, I think this is smaller. So like but what I'm trying to say is that what I did is this is what I did. I just bought like the bottle. I bought one of these bottles, and then after that I bought the bag. So once I was done with the bottle was empty. I kept the bottle and then I refilled the bottle with this bag. All right. So that's what I usually do. Okay. Um, and the cool thing about nutritional yeast too, if you go through different brands, sometimes like as you can see here, they have like different flavors like roasted garlic, smoky barbecue. I've seen some with like a vegan bacon flavor and ranch, a whole bunch of. I've seen so many different flavors, but to be honest, I kind of just stick. I even see nacho cheese, which I think would definitely taste great with some popcorn. But to be honest with you, the one I usually take is just the regular one. Okay, um, so that's one way to really bring up your B12. And then another way to do it as well is just like through dark leafy greens, mushrooms, like a lot of Whole Foods has like natural B12 in it already, but you do want to definitely incorporate some nutritional yeast, something that's very high. And then you also have your plant-based milks. So some plant-based milks, not all, but some do have fortified ingredients in it that has B12. So that's another way to do it. And then also certain vegan cereals has B12 in it too. Now, this is something that I usually don't talk about, but people kind of put a blind's eye on it. And I'm not saying to get your B12 strictly from the source. I'm just telling you like what other items has B12. So like energy drinks, they usually have B12 in it, and pre-workouts usually have B12 in it as well. So one thing that I do take personally on on a consistent basis is pre-workouts, and I do mix it up between like this one, but I don't think this one has any B12. No, the Clean Machine N10s don't have B12, but I do take this. But I do mix it up with the one from Some Warrior, which I believe it has B12. It's in my kitchen. I don't want to go out there and get it, but like I do get some B12 from the pre-workout, I believe from the Some Warrior brands. And then I've also taken like Ghost. I know the Ghost one, the Ghost pre-workout is pretty strong, but they do have a vegan one where it has some B12 and B vitamins in it as well. So, but this is only if you're like a pre-workout person, you know what I'm saying? Because I know I am. You know, I'll be honest with y'all. I'll be like, I take pre-workout probably like 5 or 6 days out of the week, you know. And if I'm drinking coffee, I'll drink it, but like I'm mostly a big pre-workout person, okay? But that's all I've done. And like I said, one of the things I take probably on a consistent basis is probably going to be the Nooch, whole food plant-based foods like mushrooms and dark leafy greens, and then also pre-workout. That's it for B vitamins. I barely drink. It's rare you catch me drinking a lot of like uh, plant-based milks. It's not that I don't like it. It's just that I don't really drink it. You know, that's the only thing. I like it, but I just don't. I'm not, I've never was big in milk even growing up. You know, even growing up, I wasn't really a milk person. Um, you know, and even till now with the plant-based milks, I'm still not a big milk person. The only time I really drink milk, like mostly, is like if I'm making pancakes or, you know, if I'm eating cereal. Okay, but hopefully that helps. Try incorporating more plant-based foods like mushrooms, dark leafy greens into your diet. Take some nooch, you know, or some nutritional yeast. Try putting that into your diet on a consistent basis and see if that helps. And then doing the injections. Try. They do have like some drops that you can put underneath your tongue. Some tension. It's called tinctures. You could try that as well and see if that can help with the absorption. Okay, so I would definitely do that. Let's see. All right, that's it. That's it for Instagram. Let's see with here, just people saying hello. Hey, what's up, you guys on YouTube? Um, Troy did say, I think he meant on Troy Stratton from Facebook. He did mention, he said you could also check. I think this is with the B12. He did say check your vitamin D level and also your magnesium level. That could play a role. If he's talking about the B12, that could be a role when it comes to your B12. So I'm assuming that's what he's talking about. I know Troy myself. He's like a he's like a PT guy, so uh, I would trust him. You know, um, how much are your nutrition programs? Well, my nutrition programs can run as low as $50, as cheap as $50, and can go all the way up to 12,000. Okay, but it really depends, like on duration, what you're trying to do through the program, like because everything's customized for each individual. So if you want more information on that, just DM me New Vegan, and we can talk more if you're interested. Okay. Um, and let's see, this other people saying hi. All right, so I guess that's it with the questions for now. So let's go ahead. All right, one more question from Instagram. They said how to build muscle on on muscle mass on a vegan diet. So I can answer that before we go into the book. So and the book kind of goes over that a little bit, but I can answer that real quick, and then we'll go right into the book. Um, to build muscle on a plant-based diet is just like any diet. Okay, so first you need to be on a caloric surplus. It doesn't matter if you're vegan, you eat meat, you're on paleo diet, keto diet. You have to be in a slight caloric surplus if your main focus is to build lean muscle mass. That's number one. So that means you have to be eating more calories than what you're actually consuming. Okay. Now, to know that, again, use MyFitnessPal. All right, start tracking your foods, figure out how many calories you're actually eating, right? Then you can go online and Google what's my BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate. This is how many calories you're actually burning in total at rest. Okay, so figure that out. Then after that, you want to kind of eat at least like you could try like 500 calories in the beginning, higher than your BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate. Once you start doing that, then do that on a consistent basis, and then work out. Make sure you're training. I would say when it comes to the training, if you want to build more muscle, do a hypertrophy training program. That would be best, which is a bodybuilding program, and just make sure you're hitting each muscle group at least 2 times a week. And this really boils down to any diet. It doesn't matter. Like if you're just trying to build muscle overall, this will definitely help you out. Okay. So just try that and see if that works. Okay. Now let's go into the book right now. So because the book's really going to go a little bit more into that. All right. Let's see. Entire screen. Let's share that. And then let's go here. All right. So this is the ebook that let me just shrink it. All right. So this is the ebook right here. And then what we do here is pretty simple. And like I said, if you want this guide, it's free. Just go to my Instagram, DM me vegan, and I'll send you this book yourself so you can have a copy. All right. But we're going to go over it. This is called No Wheat Vegans, 24 things every new vegan needs to get lean and strong. Okay. Now, right here in the beginning of the book, it kind of just goes over some questions that most people talk about, right? Which I've already went over, so I'm not going to go over that, right? And then after that, I talk a little bit about myself. Like I'm a 3-time pro bodybuilder. I hope over more than 100 now, because this book's pretty old, but it says like I hope helped over 100 heroes easy to a plant-based diet, blah, 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 blah. So all that good jazz, right? so this is what I always start off first is right here with the equipment. All right. Now, the reason I start off in this book with the equipment is the same reason why when y'all just ask me certain questions like, how do I build muscle? I'm bloated. How do I make sure I'm getting enough B12 and all this stuff? Like the only way you're going to find out if you're tracking, you before even like trying to figure out the main answer, like because everyone's trying to look for that quick fix, that quick answer, like oh, just do this and that's going to happen. Like, look, the first thing you need to do before to answer any type of question is going to really boil down into what you're tracking. Okay, because the thing is like, for example, and I'm not trying to put the guy out there who talked about like his B12 levels. I know he's just curiously asking. I'm just using him as an example though. Like if let's say he went to the doctor, he got his blood work checked, B12 levels is low, right? Now the only thing the doctor's going to say is they're going to try to figure out like, put him on supplements and stuff like that to try to bring it up, right? I mean, that would be the more ideal thing to do. But to prevent that, right, it would have been best if the individual was actually tracking, right? Because let's say if he was tracking and he was getting all his B12 vitamins, like he's putting in the shots, he's doing it on a consistent basis. He shows the doctor all the foods he's eating. Then he uses like MyFitnessPal or Chronometer, which is food apps where it comes to tracking. Then if you show that, then they can try to look for other cases, because what we're doing right now, what everyone's doing is they're just trying to figure out something and they're shooting in the dark right now. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no data. It's just like the only data we have is the data when we drew the blood. You know what I'm saying? But if we had more data where I can, like, let's say if it was me, I could show the doctor like, hey doc, this is what I'm eating every single day. Like here's all my vitamins and minerals that I'm getting. Here's all the fiber that I'm getting. You know, that would actually help the doctor more, because then going through like trial and error, right? They could just say, all right, well, you're definitely getting all the nutrients that you're getting if this is what you're doing. You're tracking all your foods. So let's look a little bit deeper, right? And then, like Troy said, hey, check your vitamin D levels, check your magnesium, because then that would have been probably the next best thing. Like, let's check for something else. Let's check it if there's like an underlying issue or a health related issue that's going on that we just haven't figured out yet. All right. So so tracking is really going to play a big role. But what you need to track, not more than just my fitness pal or chronometer, you need the actual tools that actually track the amount of food that you're eating. So the first thing you want to get is a digital scale. This is now the digital scale, it can be your friend. All right. Don't look at it as an enemy, because a lot of people think like tracking, measuring out your foods is super strict and it's not normal eating and stuff like that and all this jazz. And our ancestors never did this, never did that. Yeah, our ancestors never had Facebook, Instagram, cars, airplanes, trains. Like, they never lived a sedentary lifestyle. Ancestors were their job was for survival, just like every other mammal on this planet, hunting and searching for food for as a living. You know what I'm saying? Now we don't have to worry about that. Everything comes to us. You go to you drive to the grocery store, you put things in a plastic or paper bag, you bring it home, you throw it in your fridge for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month worth of food. Okay. Versus our ancestors will have to look for food almost pretty much on a daily basis. Okay. There was only a few things that could be stored for a certain X amount of time before it spoils. Okay. So when it comes down to this timeline, all right, we have to bring ourselves up to technology and what it has. All right. And not try to use excuses to be freaking lazy. All right. So, like, this is why you want to use these measuring tools. And the best thing about these measuring tools, you have to look at it with a different scope. I always say, look at it as a tool, not as something like another thing just to make dieting hard for you. Okay. Because what's happening is that you don't understand portion control. All right. You just eat. I always say this before I'm going to go further. I say a lot of people is stuck on a seafood diet, and not seafood like fish, not like a pescatarian. The diet where everything they see, they put in their damn mouth. That's the seafood diet. They see it, it's food, they eat it. All right. Now, what's happening is, again, they don't understand portion control. All right. So to learn portion control, this is where the measuring scales and all these measuring tools really going to come into play. Because if you understand the amount of food that you're eating and how much nutrients you get when it comes to like a cup of spinach or a cup of mushrooms, and you have better knowledge when it comes to this. And I always tell people, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. These are things that you should have been taught. All right. You should, like, the knowledge of food in America is very piss poor. You should know the nutrients of how much nutrients you can get from spinach. You should know that. You're right. Like, you should learn that from school. You should learn the nutrients you could get from kale. You should learn like the nutrients you get from meat, from chicken, from everything. I'm vegan. I even know it. Like, it's just common knowledge. I really believe it. And the reason I'm also saying meat, because I'm a nutritionist too. You know what I'm saying? So I can't just say like, oh, just meat is bad, meat is bad, meat is bad. No, like, people can live eating meat. You know what I'm saying? People can live well eating meat. But being vegan and eating meat is two different things. But as a nutritionist as well, I can't just say like meat is just horrible. Okay, it's not 100% horrible. But if you ask me personally, plants is a lot better when it comes to longevity. All right, if that is your goal. All right, so you should really understand that. You shouldn't be just watching Instagram and Facebook and all this stuff and just listening to like 30-second videos and stuff of what, and cherry picking knowledge when it comes to plants and fruits and vegetables and meat and stuff like that. Everyone should know the truth about food. Okay, at the end of the day. And then if you know everything about food, then you can make your choice if you want to go keto, paleo, vegan, plant-based, whatever the case, but you should know about the nutrients of food and how it's going to play an effect in the lifestyle and the goals that you're trying to achieve personally. All right. That's why I'm vegan, because I understood food, I understand what's going on. And at the end of the day, I looked at myself and I was like, I want to go vegan. Like, it's not just for animal ethics, it's also for health. Okay. Because I kind of had a better understanding. Now, going to here, this is good for dieting. All right. Now, this is when you're dieting. Now, these next set of tools, like a high power blender, cast iron cooking ware, and iron cooking ware, lunchbox containers with glass containers and stuff like that, your shaker cup. This is just good for someone who's dieting. All right. So if you're dieting at the time, you're trying to lose some body fat, you're trying to improve your health, you're trying to improve something in your lifestyle, I highly recommend getting these tools. All right. Because meal prep is going to suck if you don't have any cooking ware. All right. And the reason, let's start off with number 5. The reason I said cast iron or steel is just because they're high quality and you don't have to worry about any type of chemicals leaching into your food, right? So, for example, somewhat low iron, you might want to use cast iron cooking ware, because the cast iron cooking ware is going to push iron ions in your food. So, this is very important for vegans, since vegans do suffer from low iron. All right. Most vegans, most vegetarians do suffer from low iron. So, it's if you're vegan or vegetarian, I will highly recommend buying some iron cooking ware. Okay. That could definitely help. Um, and then you could get some steel appliances. That's just going to eliminate any type of chemicals leaching into the food. And what you don't see is non-stick wares like Teflon. All right. Now, the reason I didn't put that in there is just because with Teflon, nothing's wrong with Teflon. Teflon is perfectly good to use. It's only until it's damaged. Like, and it's easy to get damaged. Like, once you scratch it, it's damaged. Okay. And then that's when the Teflon ions is getting pushed into your food, and you don't want that. All right. So if you're going to use Teflon, if you're going to use not non-stick, any type of non-stick ware, it's one of the reasons why they come with plastic utensils. All right. Plastic or wooden utensils, because it won't scratch. But most people don't understand cooking. I've seen people use forks and spoons and mixing things and cooking things and scratching the surface like hardcore on Teflon items, and all those flakes is being pushed right into the food every time you scratch, and then you're eating it without even thinking about it. So kind of look at it like this. If you have a Teflon pan, right? And you're looking at it and that's just all scratched up and you can see the silver, like, and you're still eating out of it, where you think all that shit where you think all that stuff went? It's inside you. All right. It didn't just wash down the drain. It didn't just wear down because of washing. Their dishwasher safe. You know what I'm saying? It's only soap and water hitting that pan. What scratched it up is the utensils you're using. You're using metal utensils or forks and knives and stuff, scratching the pan, and all that stuff, all those flakes is in your food and you're eating it up. Now, look, I'm not saying this to put you down. I'm just saying this so you're more aware, because I used to do it myself. Okay. Like, I used to do it myself before I started getting deeper into food and learning how to cook properly. I used to cook like that. I used to cook ghetto. All right. Like with a fork and stuff, and mix things in the pan and scratch shit up. I used to eat like that. All right. But once I started learning more about it, I stopped it 100%. And I didn't realize how much poisons and chemicals I was putting into my body. So if you know that, now you know, go ahead, throw that pan out, get a new pan. I highly recommend getting cast iron or some steel. They're more scratch resistance, you know what I'm saying? And that's going to be a lot healthier than putting that Teflon crap in your body. All right, putting it in your food. All right, now let's go ahead and go to the next one. All right, so the next one is going to be here. Let's see. Where's the book, man? All right. So here's the next one. Now, I put glass meal prep containers going down to number 6, just because if you're meal prepping, right? This is a 6-pack lunchbox. This is a great lunchbox if it comes to meal prep, because as you can see, if you go closer to it, you can put your supplements in there. You can put about 3 to 6 meals in this lunchbox, which is temperature. It has a temperature storage. You can make it hot or cold. And the reason I say use the glass, only because like you, again, it reduces like chemicals like BPA. A lot of plastic has BPA and stuff like that in it. You kind of don't want to be microwaving your food with plastic containers and stuff like that. So to avoid that and just to make it safe, especially for your food, use glass. Now, if you use plastic in the past, obviously it's not going to kill you. Just like it's not going to kill you, but like because I know we all done it. I've done it. I've even microwave styrofoam, and that's like another big no. I used to do it in the past, especially when I was a kid. I just didn't know. It's not going to kill you, but if you do it for a long period of time, it can play a significant role to health-related diseases long term. Okay, so now again, start swapping things out with glass containers. Okay, it's going to really help out with that. Now, if we go up to number 4, like hot power blenders, I recommend they have one from a Ninja that looks similar to that. So that is a cheaper version. I would recommend that, but the big one, or the Vitamix. Now, the reason I say this is just because these are industrial grade machines. So that means that when you make a smoothie or a soup or something, it's going to come out very liquid. Like you're not going to have chunks and stuff like that in there. And it's going to last you a very long time. Like the Vitamix that I have, I would say it's probably 10 years old. That thing is still working. And I used to buy the small little Ninjas. Not saying Ninjas are bad, because I have a Ninja. I have like the Ninja nonstick pan, which is really good. It's like amazing, better than Teflon pans. And then I have Ninja's air fryer. So I'm a fan of Ninja. The only one I'm not a fan of is their smaller, like their small personal blenders. I'm not a fan of it. They might have changed it, but I went through enough the mini personal small Ninjas. I think y'all know what I'm talking about. Like you can make like a mini shake and then drink it right out of the cup. I went through so many of those in the past. I just stopped believing in that. I'm not a fan of the smaller blenders, but they're bigger blenders and all the other cookingware they have, I'm a big fan of. So not trying to put down Ninja. It's just that I would say get something that's more expensive for real. And because it's going to last you a lot longer. So if you're going to get a Ninja blender, get the big one, like the one that looks just like the Vitamix. That one for sure will last a lot longer versus those mini ones. Okay. It's just an investment. The next thing is going to be your water. Okay. Now water is going to play a good role because you could get like purified, you can get distilled, alkaline, water that's fluoride free. Now me personally, I use fluoride water only when it comes to brushing my teeth. I use it to rinse my mouth out, but I'm not drinking it. Okay. And that's just a personal choice for me. I've heard some stuff out there that it can be linked to like some type of neurological diseases or something like that. That's what I heard. But I am reading the book right now from Dr. Michael Greger, How Not to Age. And I don't know. Now it's like this guy is saying something else about fluoride and stuff like that, saying that it's technically good for you and good. I mean, it's good for your teeth, but I haven't read it enough to go further. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that when I read more into that chapter. I'm literally on that chapter right now. But right now, when it comes to my stance on drinking water, me personally, I do the purified with the added minerals. That's what I usually do personally when it comes to drinking water. Okay. And just make sure and whatever one you do decide to get, if it's drinking water, spring water, purified, alkaline, just make sure you have the added minerals in there, or there's minerals in the water already. So because that's just going to help with hydration. Next is like your cups. Okay. Me personally, I use glass cups or mason jars. So this is where if I'm storing anything, right? If I'm storing like protein shakes or juices and stuff like that, I use this, the glass. Okay. But you not saying you can't drink from a glass container. I mean, if it's cold drinks and stuff, that's perfectly fine. I just worry about like hot temperature stuff. Okay. So that's where like the plastic and glass theory really comes in. It's really for more heated things. Okay. That's where you kind of want to in high temperature items. You don't want to be like storing that in plastic. Okay. So let's go back and take a little break and answer some more questions. So hopefully so far this was helpful. And again, if you want a copy of this book, even if I don't go through the whole book today, go to my Instagram, comment, send me a direct message saying vegan, and I'll send you that copy of the guide that we're going through, No Wheat Vegans. Okay. Now going back here, someone asked me about resistance bands. Like, I guess that Vicky asking me like, is resistance bands good? Yeah, I mean, you could use them. You could use it to build muscle. There's different resistance bands. Also you have like, and it depends what you're using it for. You know what I'm saying? Like, it depends. It depends what level of fitness you're at. So, like for someone like me, bands like your basic resistant band, like the little tube band with the handle at the end, like the basic one is probably good for me when I do my bodybuilding shows to pump up. That's as most as I'm going to use it for. All right. I prefer weights, metal, iron, machines, things with heavier resistance. All right. But let's say you're a beginner, a novice, someone who never lifted before, and not saying making fun of no one. Let's say you're really weak because you never worked out in your life. Like, even doing an arm curl, as much as you can lift, it's like 5 pounds. I've been there too. The first weight I started lifting and doing curls was not like 50-pound dumbbells. All right. I started at the bottom of the rack, because I started working out when I was a child. And that shit was heavy back then. You know what I mean? So like if you're there, this is where resistance band can come in. It's great for, it's great for traveling. It's great for beginners and novice. It's great for someone who never worked out their life and they're weak and they're trying to get stronger. So resistance bands has a role in fitness. All right. So can you use it to build muscle? Yes. Can you use it to increase strength? Yes. And then you also have like more advanced resistance bands out there now where even someone like me can get a great workout. I forgot the name of it, but I think it's called it's like X bar or something like that, where it's like a bar where you can connect with like these actual resistance band and these hooks to the bar, and you can do like double arm curls with and the resistance is like crazy. You could go up to like 200, 300 pounds of resistance. You could do like barbell squats with these resistance band. I think it's called X bar or something like that. So you do have more advanced one with way heavier resistance as well, even for the most advanced athletes, like even like myself. So yeah, nothing's wrong with resistance bands. Let's see about the protein. Is 0.7 grams of protein per pound of body weight enough? Only if your goal is to build muscle. Yeah. Because the thing about protein is I think the whole protein myth gets misconstrued a lot because a lot of influencers aren't really clear with how much protein you should eat. They say like every person should be eating 1 gram of protein per body weight. No, if your goal is not building mass, you don't need 1 gram or even 0.7 grams of protein. It could be even a lot lower. You know what I'm saying? If it's like longevity and just to like live and you're doing light exercises just for wellness, just to be fit, you don't need so much protein because your goal is not to get jacked. Your goal is just for health and wellness, just to be moving around, be healthy. Health doesn't mean like to have big muscles doesn't mean it's healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't equate healthy. You know, Healthy is your vitals, like what your blood work says and everything, your heart rate, your vitals, like that's what your wellness, your immunity, that's what health is. Muscles is more strength and aesthetics and stuff like that. Like I want to be big, I want to have muscles, so that's why I eat a lot more protein, right? But if your main goal is more longevity and health, then us and we, as you can see where I'm coming with this, there's a balance, right? So if your goal is more longevity and health, then higher protein is probably not the key. It's going to be lower protein, all right? And they said that the recommended requirements is like 60 grams of protein for a man. You know what I'm saying? So like if it's just like wellness and you're doing light exercises and stuff like that, that's probably all you need. Maybe, and let's say you're like a 150-pound person, maybe all you need is 60 grams. Maybe just 100 grams. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's just that. But so when it comes to the whole gram per body weight and protein and stuff like that, this really requires more. We need more info, and this is where I come in when it comes to my my clients and my students. This is where I come in and create programs individual, because when people ask me this question, I always say the same thing. I'm like, if you want me to answer just like every other guy, yeah, 1 gram of protein per body weight. Like that's the default answer. But if you want the real answer, it's going to be long like this. It depends on what your goals are. Is it longevity? Is it health? Is it to increase cardiovascular endurance because you're a runner? Is it like, what's your goals? Like, because that's what's going to really depend. It depends on your goals and what you're trying to get out of it. You know what I mean? That's the real answer. So to be honest, there's no real answer. You have to know what you want, and then do that to get to that particular goal, if that makes sense. And that's why a lot of my students don't do 1 gram of protein per body weight. It's a lot less, actually. The only ones that do like 1 gram per body weight and something like that is like people who's like if I'm training them for like shows and stuff like that, because their primary goal is building mass. Okay. Let's see what else. Mackenzie said, agree with the cast iron. I also use glass water bottles and don't use plastic anymore. Great. Yeah, that's perfect. Like I stopped using plastic too. Like this is my water bottle, it's steel, so that's what I use. You know what I mean? I try to avoid plastic as much as possible. Now, do I have some shaker cups that's plastic? Yeah. But again, I don't use it to store things, like, and especially hot foods. I don't put hot things in plastic. I just use cold. I try to use cold as much as possible. And I try to use other containers that's like either glass or steel to store hot foods or cold foods. You know what I mean? Let's see. Can you recommend a budget brand for a scale that calculates body fat? Yeah. So I could definitely do that. So I actually have this. It's actually on my website. So it's on my website. My website is bodyhdfitness.com. Right. So I'm going to go ahead and show you, because these scales can cost a lot. And if you get something too cheap, it doesn't work that much, right? But I'm going to show you that something that's really good. It's in between. It's budget friendly, but it's reliable, and it's a pretty good scale. So this is a scale that I recommend for my students as well. I have 2 scales that I recommend. One's like a top end one, and then one is a budget one. So let me show you. All right, so we go here. Oh, it's right here. So we go here. All right, go to the shop, right, and go to equipment. Now you're going to see the scales. So the scale that I recommend is going to be this one. It's by Omron. All right, the Omron Body Composition Scale. Now, if you go here, right now, currently it's $98. Now here's the thing. You saw on my website it was $70, right? Now, I've seen this scale change prices throughout as long as it's been on my website. The cheapest I've seen this scale was $50, right? So even right here it says last list price was $109. I guess that's how much it was before. I've seen it as low as $50 and as much as $150. But now, I tell you the truth, I forgot how much I paid. I think I paid about like $70 or $80 for it. So right now it's $98.49. Okay, so you have to, but this is the scale that I recommend if you want something budget friendly. Now, if you see it, it has two sensors, which is very important. It has the sensors for your feet and the sensors in your hands, right? Now, this is very important because when you use these scales, there's cheaper scales out there that only checks your feet. This is called like a static scale because it shoots like static electricity through your body to measure out your weight and body fat, your bone density, all this, your water, all that stuff, right? So the thing is that when you use one that just checks your feet, the static isn't checking your whole entire body because that static electricity kind of weakens when it comes to your upper body. Now, the scale that checks your hands and feet, now you're getting full conduction from your upper and lower body, and it's going to be a little bit more accurate. Okay. So this is something that's a little bit more budget friendly. This is something that I do recommend to my students as well, especially if they don't have a lot of money in buying equipment and they want to kind of save some. I tell them to get this one. Now, the other scale that I do recommend that's a little bit more pricier is, now this isn't budget friendly, but it depends how you look at it, is going to be this one right here, the InBody. All right, the InBody scale. Now, as you can see, it's the same thing. That little slip on the top you see, that's a handle. When you pull it out of the scale, that's also a handle. And then you can see that it also has your feet sensors as well. So it does the same thing. It checks your hand and your feet. Okay, so this is a great diagram of this gentleman doing that. And see, and checks everything. The same thing as the other scale. Now, the difference with this one is that it's a higher quality scale. Obviously, it's more expensive, and it has an app that you get with the scale, so it saves all your measurements automatically through Bluetooth connection. Okay, so that's a great thing, and it checks everything like your skeletal muscle, body fat, body mass, all that stuff. Okay, visceral fat, all of those things. Okay, so it's really good, as you can see. So it checks all that and records it. Now, this one right now is $299. Now, the reason I said it depends how you look at it when it comes to budget friendly, because when you buy, if you spend the $300 on the scale, this scale will last you for a long time. It's going to last for a good 5-10 years, man. So it's a good investment, maybe even longer, as long as you're not throwing it on the ground and shit, and you take care of it. Like it's going to last you a long time. This is the one I have, that black and gold one. All right, so that's the one I have, and you can see the black and gold looks mad fresh. All right, so you can get that one as well. But as you can see, the fresh one is even a little bit longer, a little bit more expensive. It's $329. All right. Oh, they're both the same price. Yeah. So it depends how you look at it. If you want something that's better quality, it's going to give you more. The accuracy of the readings are way better than Omron. It's going to be a good investment, and it's going to be something that once you buy it, you're going to have the scale for a very, very long time, as long as you take care of it. But again, if you don't have the money up front, which I understand, you can get the Omron. All right. And then let's see. Let me see if I have to go because, 12. Let me see. I think I do. Yeah. So unfortunately, I do have to go. I have a client right now. So hopefully I answered a lot of people's questions. And again, if you want that free ebook, the No Wheat Vegans ebook, I know I didn't have a chance to go through all of it. I didn't have a chance to answer everyone's questions, but I do this every Wednesday, all right, at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go on here, do these lives, answer some questions, and talk about a little bit about veganisms and what to do, especially as a new vegan. Just come back. But remember, if you want that free guide, go to my Instagram, Corinne Sutton. Go to there, DM me directly, vegan, and I'll send you that guide so you can look at the rest of that yourself. Okay. With that said, talk to y'all soon. Peace.